picture of your hat. I'm trying to get a picture of anyone that's anything PLA related or I know it, so close enough to PLA forums.
Yeah, right? What are you guys, a fucking Dateline or what the fuck?
We have a plan for these. You'll find out soon. Come on, there we go. Well, that's a good one.
How have you been, by the way?
Good, you?
Good.
Excellent choice on camera.
What are you guys setting up? I'm not taking a picture.
Is that the 750?
Okay, we got what we need.
Open DEF CON and all the regional cons have taken off. All these security professionals are putting on their own security/hacking conferences, making lots of money at it. Well, that's what this talk is going to be about. This is a talk I give at my local BR 407 meeting. Very short, but it's kind of a funny little thing. It's not the kind of thing I would ever present out in public because, well, you'll see why I think. So, this is how this thing started. I got an email, next slide, from a place called the Security Standard, and I blocked out my real name. This came to my real email address. Basically, this is one of those security professional conferences. Costs a lot of money to get into because they gear it towards security professionals, charge a couple of $1,300. Put it on post office with a code on it. If you had one, you put it in there. I didn't have that, so I just put in my email address, email invitation. I didn't want to give them my real email address because I wasn't really going. I just wanted to see what would happen on the next page, so I put in a fake account. So next page, you'll see I went in and I registered as Cyber Ninja, which is a throwback to our good friend Bland Inquisitor, if anybody remembers him. Put in a fake company, fake address, owned Blando, and what I did is I put in the Will Hack for Food email address. Everybody knows Will Hack for Food, great site. So I put in a Will Hack for Food email address because I didn't, again, want it tied back to me. But I also found it interesting that here I am in the system using a fake email address to begin with. I really used whatever@whatever.com from that other screen. Came in here and registered with this. I clicked on continue to the next slide. And the next one is where they ask a bunch of demographic information. I'm the chief security officer. Yeah, we've got over $250 million budget, whatever. But I kind of stopped at the bottom of the here because I felt I don't want to go any further because I feel like I'm committing and crossing a certain line, and I don't want to, really mess with them too much. So I stopped. Well, that's when I kind of thought about it, and I came back to the register online screen. Went to the next one, register online at the top. Came back to here, and I got to thinking, you know what? I knew my email address that I could have put in here because they sent me an invitation. But if you look at that screen, there's one thing that's blatantly missing on that. What's protecting anybody from logging in with my email address? There's no password, there's nothing to stop it. The only thing really is security by obscurity is in, I don't know who else they invited, so I wouldn't know what email to put in there. So I thought to myself, well, wait a minute. Who do I know could be going to this conference, even if I'm not CC'd on their email? And I got to thinking, well, who else would have to register to go to the conference? You don't think they'd actually register their speakers to go to the conference. So I look on their speakers list. Chief Security Officer of AT&T. Chief Security Officer of a lot of high-tech companies here, McAfee, Director of Information Security, a lot of these. You don't think they'd make them register and be in the same database without a password. Sure enough, Scott Blake, pretty easy to figure out the email, a little bit of Google hacking, scott.blake@libertymutual.com, put in his email address, and that you see on there is his information. That's his actual address, his actual phone number, mail stop, the name of his assistant. If you want to call him directly and complain about something with your Liberty Mutual account, there's your direct contact information. Change his preferred badge name to whatever you wanted to see, owned by Stankdog. All that's right there that I can edit. Now, same thing on the next screen, another one. This is Beth Cannon, Chief Security Officer, a female, which we all know that's dangerous to put personal information. There's creepy stalker dudes out there. Not me. None of you, I hope. But keep going, and I stopped with a couple. There's a couple there of examples. And some of the emails I just guessed. I mean, this guy's name is Bhavesh Patel. I don't know what this guy is, but you think his email is bpatel@thenameofthecompany.com? Didn't take a lot of digging or a lot of information on this. And there's a Chief Security Officer for AT&T. Do you think he knows his information is being presented right here at a hacking conference in Wall somewhere in Las Vegas? Probably not. And do you think he'd like it? Probably not. So, next screen, everybody knows cookies. I'm not going to hang on to this too long.
So on the screen...
Please hold your questions till the end.
I'm sorry.
On these cookies, everybody knows how cookies work. I only put this in here to show that this is kind of legitimate because I could have easily faked a lot of this stuff. Well, you enter in your email address on one. Does it write a cookie immediately? Does it write it after the extra screen? We all know how easy it is to delete cookies. There's no password, as I pointed out. So if you go to the next screen, all I'm doing there is showing you I brought up IE in addition to Firefox. So if there was a cookie written, I brought up a new IE browser window. I go to this site, and if you want to, this is where you can verify this as well. Go to, actually go to thesecuritystandard.net, which is the name of the company, okay? Now remember, this account, WH4F, never got an invitation.
Should I be going through Tor to do this?
No, it's not a, yeah, don't worry about it. I got this set to my real email address. So I never entered that in no time did you guys see that. I made this account up on the second page. On the second page, right? I didn't actually register it. They don't know Cyber Ninja. But I thought to myself, I wonder. So I went back to the registration page, I put in that fake email address, and next slide, I'm inside your base and I'm stealing your news. There's Cyber Ninja from Owned Lando. There's the email address and everything that I put in there, all of my preferred badge name. Now, if you're over here to prove, and if you can kind of show this to everybody, if you click on register, because I could have faked this, and this is why this will just give it some evidence. If you click on register, it's going to take you to the same registration screen that you've seen here. Again, keeping in mind that Cyber Ninja never got an invite, they don't know who he is. Put in XYV3R at WH4F.org. And just select anything from that and click continue. And Cyber Ninja is inside their base. And to prove it, in our BR813 meeting, we changed this name, we changed the badge name to what I put in here. So not only is it there, it's updatable. Now, if that's updatable, and that's something that I injected and created arbitrarily, what do you guys think I could do if I were to log in with the AT&T account, change their name, their phone number, their address? I just worked my way into a $1,400 security conferences by taking and hijacking their account. It's already paid for, it's already registered, and I get in the conference for free. Or, if I wanted to be destructive, I could go in here and change every one of those registrations to Cyber Ninja, and they're magically disappear. They've lost all their accounts. Wipe their whole database up with Cyber Ninja. That would probably make some big news, but we don't do that. Next slide. This event is long over with. This is a 2007 when, ironically, we're looking at on the screen live. I did this back in 2006. It's still in their database, still registered for 2007. So this event was over. I took screenshots. I didn't really share them until now because it's one of those things where you keep your mouth shut even though we're being filmed right now. Because companies like this have lots of money to sue you. Even though it's harmless, even though I only did this to check how they handle my private information, if I would have registered, I now know these people aren't reliable. I mean, this is how easy people can get into it. I will never register for a conference like this. They can be very embarrassed and angry about it, obviously, lose money and credibility, lose business because people say, wait a minute, you're supposed to be a security officer and this is how open and wide open you guys are. One of those I didn't mention, one of those registrations I saw, well, actually I think I haven't done another slide coming up. This is an engine that powers many other conferences, not just this one. We're going to go to the next slide. This is another one called Demo Fall 07, and we don't have to do it. Same thing here. This particular person I brought up, same technique works, the same engine powers it. This person, ironically, is not only somebody who registered for the conference. Chris Shipley here is a guy who set up, created, and founded Demo Fall 87. So I could be the guy that founded the conference. And this one costs $3,000 to get into. So you can backdoor your way into a lot of conferences that way. But of course, next slide, we don't do that. Exploring and finding stuff is one thing. I'm checking out to make sure that my information is going to be kept private, which it's not going to, so I stay away from it. Stealing, deleting, modifying stuff is not okay. Cyber Ninja arbitrarily stuck in there. I didn't change anybody. I didn't touch anybody. And actually, I didn't. At no point did I say register. All I did was click on continue. Halfway through it, I'm like, I changed my mind. But it saved it in there. Very, very bad practice. If I'm not registering, don't save that kind of information. So, bad stuff. So, responsible disclosure we believe in, of course. Protect yourself online. Notify them from a throwaway account, which I did email them and tell them about this. No response. And use a proxy or send from a different network, which we're doing. But again, exactly. So that's it. That's the whole thing. Shout out to DDP, of course. This was presented at BR407 originally, just as a fun little thing. Eventually made its way to BR561, BR813. This is the kind of stuff we do at those meetings. So give these kind of things, have a local Binrev meeting, present this kind of stuff, and shout outs to all the agents of the revolution, the moderating team, stuff like that. And that's it. The end. The revolution will be digitized. All right. So, fun and real.
So,
work.
just to be, you didn't have to actually finish the registration process? Okay, because
clicking on continue actually committed stuff to the database, which is the second big flaw behind the missing password.
Because I was like, how did you do that without,
I knew that question was coming, that's why I waited off.
If the security's that weak, it would be, hit by SQL injection. Have you tried to get that?
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
Because that, for me, that's crossing a different line that I'm intentionally trying to break the stuff. I only did this to see if this was going to protect my privacy. I didn't want to cross those lines.
Up to that point, once you put a quote in with the intention of doing an SQL exploit, then obviously you're intentionally
But honestly, what do you need to do an SQL injection for? There's no password to keep you out. And clicking on continue submits data to the database. What else do you want to do?
What happens if
you could already do all of it without that.
You could probably brute force most of the addresses at att.com.
Absolutely.
Everybody was going there. Just in a brute force.
if you were to use